Milk. Milk is one of the most standardized products in a grocery store. Most of what is sold has been processed and adjusted before it reaches the shelf. Whole milk contains about 3.25% fat. This fat is what gives milk its texture and most of its flavor. Reduced fat and skim milk have part or almost all of the fat removed. What remains is mostly water, protein, and lactose. This is why skim milk often tastes thinner, even though it comes from the same source. Lactose-free milk still contains sugar. The lactose has been broken down into simpler sugars using an enzyme. Those sugars taste sweeter, so lactose-free milk often tastes sweeter without anything being added. Most milk is pasteurized, meaning it has been heated to kill bacteria and extend shelf life. This also makes milk from different brands taste very similar. Most milk is also homogenized, which prevents the cream from separating and rising to the top. What people think of as normal milk is not how milk naturally exists. It has been processed to be stable, consistent, and predictable. Eggs. Eggs are one of the most common items in a grocery store, but they are also one of the most labeled. Most of these labels describe how the chickens are raised, not what the egg is. At a basic level, eggs are very similar in nutrition. Cage-free means the hens are not kept in cages, but it does not mean they are outdoors. Most are still raised indoors in large groups. Free-range means the hens have access to the outdoors, but in practice that access can be limited. The color of brown versus white eggs comes from the breed of the chicken. It does not affect taste or nutrition. The higher price is usually due to production cost, not quality. Egg grading, like AA or A, refers to appearance, not nutrition. A darker yolk is often seen as better, but in reality it mostly depends on the hen's diet and can be adjusted. In the United States, eggs are washed, which removes a natural protective layer. That is why they must be refrigerated. In many other countries, eggs are not washed and can be stored at room temperature. Most eggs are very similar. What changes is how they are labeled and how they are sold. Butter and margarine. Butter and margarine look similar, but they are made in completely different ways. Butter is made from cream. It is produced by churning milk fat until it separates from the liquid. The result is a product that is mostly fat with a small amount of water and milk solids. Its flavor comes directly from dairy. Margarine is not dairy. It is typically made from vegetable oils that have been processed to become solid at room temperature. This process changes the structure of the fat. Butter contains mostly saturated fat, while margarine contains more unsaturated fat, depending on the oil used. For a long time, margarine was marketed as the healthier option, but early versions often contained trans fats, which were later linked to negative health effects. Today, the difference is less clear. Butter is simpler, margarine is more processed. They just serve different purposes. What looks like a simple swap is actually a choice between two very different products.
Cheese. Cheese is made from milk by separating solids from liquid, then aging or processing those solids. But not everything labeled as cheese is the same thing. Natural cheese is made using milk, cultures, and enzymes. It can be aged for months or even years, which changes its texture and flavor. The longer it ages, the more complex it becomes. Processed cheese is made by taking natural cheese and melting it down with added ingredients like emulsifiers, oils, and stabilizers. This creates a product that melts evenly and has a longer shelf life, but it is no longer the same as the original cheese. What is commonly called American cheese is usually a processed cheese product. It is designed to melt smoothly without separating. In many places, products that are heavily processed cannot legally be called cheese. They are labeled as cheese product or cheese food instead. Real cheese and processed cheese serve different purposes. One is built for flavor, the other is built for consistency. They look similar on the shelf, but they are not the same thing. Honey. Honey is often seen as one of the most natural foods in a grocery store, but not all honey is the same. Raw honey is typically unfiltered and minimally processed. It may contain small particles like pollen and wax. Most honey sold in stores is filtered and heated. This improves clarity and shelf life, but it can remove some of the natural components found in raw honey. Some products labeled as honey are blended from multiple sources to create a consistent color and taste. This makes the product more uniform but less distinctive. In some cases, honey can even be mixed with cheaper sugars like corn or rice syrup. Real honey naturally crystallizes over time. This is not a sign of spoilage. In fact, it is one of the simplest ways to recognize minimally processed honey. Clear, always liquid honey has often been heated or filtered more heavily. Honey looks simple, but depending on how it is processed, it can be very different from eating the fruit itself. Juice. Juice is often marketed as a healthy option, but not all juice is the same. 100% juice is made entirely from fruit, but that does not mean it is fresh. Many of these juices are processed, stored, and later reconstituted before being packaged. Some are held for months in oxygen-free storage to maintain shelf life. Juice from concentrate has had most of its water removed, then added back later. Not from concentrate suggests fewer processing steps, but it does not necessarily mean the juice is fresh. Some juice drinks contain added sugars and flavorings, making them closer to soft drinks. Whole fruit contains fiber, which slows down sugar absorption. Juice removes most of that fiber. This makes it easier to drink large amounts of sugar quickly, even if it comes from fruit. Juice looks like a simple choice, but depending on how it is made, it can be very different from eating the fruit itself.
Bread. Bread is one of the oldest foods in the world, but most bread in a grocery store is very different from tradition. Traditional bread is made with just a few ingredients: flour, water, salt, and yeast. It is often fermented slowly to develop flavor. Most supermarket bread is made for speed and consistency. It includes added ingredients like preservatives and conditioners to stay soft longer. Softness is not always a sign of freshness. Real sourdough is made using natural fermentation, but many products labeled as sourdough only add flavoring to regular yeast bread. Whole wheat bread is often seen as healthier, but some products use refined flour with added coloring to appear darker. Bread looks simple, but most of what is sold is designed for convenience, not tradition. Pasta. Pasta seems simple, but the type you buy can change more than just the shape. Higher quality pasta is made from durum wheat, which gives it a firmer texture. Some pasta is extruded through bronze dies instead of smooth metal molds. This creates a rougher surface that helps sauce stick better. Smoother pasta tends to let sauce slide off. Traditional pasta is dried slowly at lower temperatures to preserve flavor. Mass-produced pasta is dried quickly at high heat, which can change the texture. Fresh pasta contains eggs and more moisture, while dried pasta is firmer and holds up better with heavier sauces. Appearance does not always reflect quality. Small differences in how it is made can change how it cooks, tastes, and holds sauce. Rice. Rice is one of the most widely consumed foods in the world, but small differences in processing matter. White rice has had its outer layers removed, giving it a softer texture but removing some nutrients. Brown rice keeps those layers. It contains more fiber but takes longer to cook. Some white rice is enriched to replace part of what was lost. Rinsing rice removes excess surface starch, which can make it less sticky, but it can also remove added nutrients. Instant rice is pre-cooked and dried. It is convenient, but often has a softer texture and less flavor.
Rice looks simple, but small differences in processing change everything from the taste to the nutrition it provides.